Hey guys, Gary J here, and today we're talking about a bow clicker. And this one happens to be made by Clickety Click, and Three Rivers Archery is where I bought this one. Uh, and what does a bow clicker do? Well, there are a lot of different types of bow clickers, but this is Clickety Click here, and it's got instructions here. I notice on the instructions, sometimes they will work for you perfectly, and sometimes your bow, depending on what it looks like, may not be the perfect bow for those instructions. So this right here is your bow clicker, and it's a very simple design in many ways. This is kind of like an aluminum metal right here, or something close to tin, I guess, and it's got a secondary piece of metal here, this blue metal right here, which is kind of thin. And then it's got another piece of metal on top of that with a screw in it. And you've got a chain here, which is supposed to be a pretty durable chain right here. And what happens is that it makes a clicking sound when you pull on it. Now, you probably can't hear that well. But once you put it on the bow, you can hear it. It'll vibrate a whole lot better. So what happens is that with this 3M tape, you take that off and you stick that on a particular part of your limb of your bow, usually about 8 inches down from the point of your bow. And you'll take that and then you'll tie this into your string on your bow. Let's say you have a 27-inch draw. Well, you would stick this on the limb of your bow and you'd pull back on that 27-inch. You take this end right here, and you can run that in between the string on your bow, and tie just a simple knot on it, and that should hold it and pull it back until you get to your normal draw length and where you anchor, and you got the perfect distance you want on your bow. Once you've done that, you can tie your string into a knot here on the string, and when you pull it, your bow, when you hit 27 inches or your correct draw length that you want, you'll hear it click. And once you hear it click, you know to stop pulling. The thing about traditional bows and recurve bows is that they don't have cams. You can't tell how far you're pulling back, especially on traditional bow, because when you pull a traditional bow, 45 pound, 50 pound or greater, it's just hard to pull back unless you got perfect form, and that's hard for anybody. So this way, if you have a clicker, it's going to always click once you've had it adjusted and you get where you want to. It's always going to click, so you know you're exactly 27 inches. And I'll show you on my other bow. Now on this one right here is the traditional bow, and see, this is the same clicker right here. The screw at the top up here is tied to the string right here, and when you pull it, you'll be able to hear a lot better on this one. When you pull the string back and you've got 27 and a half inch, whatever your draw is, let's just say it's 27. When you pull it back, you hear it pop. So if you've got it set for your draw and your anchor, then when you pull it back, and let's say that's 27 inches, that lets you know to stop right there. Otherwise, with a traditional bow or some of the other recurves, you're going to continue to pull that bow back, and you're not 100% sure if you're at 27 inches or 27 and a half or 26 and a half, or if you get tired after shooting for a period of time, you may be pulling it back 25 inches, you may be pulling it 28. So what happens if you pull past 27 like normal? If you pull past 27 to 28, then that's going to increase the power of your bow, so your arrow's going to go higher a little bit. If you don't pull it back far enough to 27, you pull it back to 26, your arrow's going to go a little bit lower. So then you have that problem to deal with. This way, you will always know how far to pull back your arrow, okay? And when you hear it pop, you can release it just a tad, hear it pop a second time. You want to stay in that position. That way you're not going to be shooting high and low. Now, depending on how you're aiming, that's why you need to be able to aim pretty good too. That, you know, that will be responsible a lot for where you're hitting your target at. So that's one thing I like about this clicker right here. They're about, again, like 15 bucks. Three Rivers Archery has them. A lot of other places have them too. And so they can be very valuable to help you shoot better. And especially when you're using something like this that doesn't have any sights on it. That's one thing that you eliminate is your draw, that you can correctly pull it back the same distance all the time. And so you can put them on hunting bows, and especially like target bows. Target bows have a different type of clicker. On those, they have a metal finger down here so that it rides on top of the arrow, and when you pull the arrow all the way back, it falls and slams. It makes a clicking noise, and you know that your arrow, you know, is all the way back, and that's where you want to hold it at. Okay, so they use them in Olympic archery and stuff like that too, the ones that are the finger type down here. So they're very valuable for that in the recurves. So you may want to consider something like that. Okay, the amazing clicker. That was a great idea. I don't know who came up with that, but it really helps. So I wanted to share that with you. And just a very simple device. You can make them out of a mason jar lid, but you need a piece of metal that's a little bit thick like this right here, and you can fold it back and make this little blue piece right here. This is your clicking part right here. And sometimes you got to bend that into kind of like a little bit of a V shape, just a mild V shape, so that it'll pop back. Let's see, that's loud enough on that bow limb right there. Okay, I checked the poundage on this with a bow scale. It's a handheld bow scale, the small ones, and electronic. And you can tell the difference when you pull back. If your draw is 27 inches and you pull back 28 inches, your poundage goes up just a little bit. If you pull back 26 inches, it's down a little bit. So you can correct that fluctuation of up and down, you know, when you shoot a lot. We'll shoot this one just a few times. Okay, you'll hear it click. And you don't want to pull it back farther than it clicks either. Set that knob. But you hear it click every time. Look, see how we done with the target here. Well, one thing, these are all consistently the same height. I'm aiming at one particular spot, so they group well. But if you're pulling back and you got a clicker, you're going to have more consistency to keep your arrows together. And because once you get tired of shooting, you may pull back more, you may pull back less, and your arrows are going to start fluctuating up and down. So that's not too terribly bad of a group for a traditional bow. So hopefully that helps you guys when you start shooting. with traditional or target bows or any kind of bow. If you're having a problem getting that draw length consistently back the same way every time, it'll help you on your form too, to give you a reminder that you're not pulling the bow back exactly. So I think it makes a big difference. Thanks for watching, guys. Gary J.